Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back, or welcome for the first time. I don't know. Today, we are getting hot and heavy with some good old text analysis.
No! God, please!
I love text analysis so much.
What is wrong with you?
Because it is where all the answers are. I'm going to share with you the key points that I use as a filmmaker, writer, editor to help me build the story. And you can use these to help build your performance and also help me help you communicate to an audience. And not just communicate, but also have an impact on an audience, because after all, movies can move mountains. Movies have an impact on people. People love movies. So we don't want to just communicate, we want to have an impact. Hold for plane. Sorry, that's my jet. Don't worry about it. But first I want to give a big
get out of here, you flies.
Shout out. You guys are awesome. So thank you so much for subscribing and sharing and liking and doing that bell thing and the bell. I'm just overwhelmed and so very thankful. So thank you so much. Let's say you get your sides for an audition. You don't know the context of the entire script. You don't have a lot of information about it, which happens often.
This is just an idea to get started on. Very good. Filmmaking.
Here's Johnny.
What I see actors do is they highlight their lines and then they start learning their lines by rote, which will be very similar to learning a phone number. They just say the lines over and over and over again until it sticks.
Fix the animal in the eye with a masterful gaze. Fix the master in the eye with an animal gaze in the masterful eye. Fix the aster in the maze with an animal guy.
And for a lot of actors, that's where the process stops. But that only goes so far. And when you get in trouble in your scene, let's say your partner drops a line and they don't cue you the way that you memorized it, it all falls apart. And I'm inviting you to learn how to lay a very, very solid foundation so that your personality and your creativity and your passion can thrive. I hope it gets you asking more questions and gets that creativity train going. I want to turn you into an idea factory. I want you just to be able to turn that switch on and just start creating things. The more you do this, the better it will get, and it's going to become habitual and you won't even have to think about it anymore. You just got to start. So today I'm going to teach you how to use the story to always help you know your lines. If you are successful in your acting career and you are consistently working and paying your bills as an actor, don't change anything. Don't change anything because it's working. This information is for actors who maybe don't know how to do their text analysis, or they've heard a lot of abstract ideas about text analysis.
Do you know that if is the middle word in life? If you can keep your head when all about you're losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you. I mean, I can't, I'm a little man. I'm a little man. He's a great man.
Obviously, yes, read the scene, but read it so that the events in the scene wash over you and you have some objectivity to it. Make sure that you do this because it allows you to see the events more clearly, because when you distance yourself from it and you read it, you're able to really see those events take place without putting yourself into it. What is the scene about? It's the most important thing. So a scene is made up of little chunks or beats, and you want to be able to identify those very clearly and to organize your scene into those chunks so that it's a small, manageable chunk that you're dealing with one at a time. What is a beat? Anything that's a change. Obviously, when someone comes into the scene or leaves a scene, that's a change. Also, new information.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Daddy, I'm pregnant.
That escalated quickly.
That's a huge beat change. Everybody has to react to that. And unfortunately, they are often ignored so much by newer actors. It is like running a red light.
How much is it?
It'll be $18.
Here you go. Keep the change. Hi, doggy.
It is so obvious, and it's really annoying because when you don't recognize that beat and take a moment and react to it and change something, I have to do it for you in the cut. And sometimes it's not as easy as it sounds. So it's way better if you, the actor, can self-regulate yourself and lock onto those beats. Now, there's two different types of beats. There's story beats and there's character beats. Now, story beats are what happens to everyone, and it's completely agreed upon and it's predetermined by the writer. These are literally the events that are taking place in the script, in the scene. These are the beats. These are the things that are happening. These are the changes, and you have to agree with it. If it starts raining, that's a beat, and you can't ignore that it's raining, otherwise you would be a weirdo. Maybe your character is a weirdo, but when something happens, this is your moment to react because it's a beat. You have to change something. The second type of beat is a character beat. Now, a character beat is something that is personal to your character. It only happens to your character, and it might be completely invisible to the other characters in the scene. So for example, if you are doing a scene and the other character is saying something, you can be affected by it and you can decide when to be affected by it. That little character beat will influence the tactics and the emotions that you have and the reason why you do things.
Will you stop that?
So we've got character beats that happen to you personally, and then we've got story beats which affect the entire story and all of the players in it. The blocking will be in the scene description. It will tell you when she sits down, when he takes a drink from his water, when they jump out of the plane. It's all written, it will tell you, and there's no mystery about it. Blocking usually occurs on a beat.
I'm in love with her.
Get out! Go anywhere you want. Go to a hotel, go live with her, but don't come back.
Because any movement is a change. It's a change in people's physicality, a change. So you can use your blocking very strategically to communicate to the audience that there's a change happening in you or that you're being affected by something. So really think about your blocking very carefully. When you have a direction to move, it's a really, really great place to put an emotion, a tactic, something behind it. Moving around on screen with no intention behind it will just look like an Easter egg hunt. It will look so bad. People won't know what to lock onto. So you really need to make sure that every single movement has a purpose behind it and an intention, because that is interesting on camera and it's something I can use to help tell the story. Okay, so those are the things that actors don't have control over. And I say that because it's predetermined, it's in the text, and that is just laying the foundation. That is the boring old, just those are the events, that's what happens in the scene. And everything we do is informed upon by that structure. By the way, you guys, why don't you just become a producer and then you have lots and lots of control? Just saying. Just saying. Just saying.
I want to be with you. That's what I know. I want to be with you.
Before you get fancy, before you start putting on emotions and start layering your performance, you really need to have an objective. What do you want? What's the goal? What's your purpose? What is your objective?
What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
I want more life, Father.
I want to come with you to Alder.
Writers think hard and long about this, and you should too. I want to eat cake all day. I can't have cake.
Have a Bloody Mary and a steak sandwich and a steak sandwich, please.
Very good, sir.
After you've identified your objective, tattoo it on your forehead. I mean, write it at the top of your scene so that you can always look at it. And now this will be the holy grail of that scene, and it will inform every single decision that you make after it. So it's very, very important to choose a strong one. You want to choose an objective that helps your character overcome obstacles and succeed. If you've read the story, you know at the end of the scene whether or not your character succeeds in their goal or not, but the audience doesn't know that. So you want to try to not play the end at the beginning. You always want to assume that your character is going to achieve their goal. Your objective should not change ever in the scene. Your objective is constant in that scene. Now, we do have super objectives.
Oh, I don't think I have the strength.
But today we're just going to talk about a scene because I know a lot of actors receive material without a context of the entire script, and you can do this process regardless. What's keeping your character from achieving their goals, or what's making it difficult for them to succeed?
Dad! What? Head for the fireplace!
Now, I like to break it down into two different types of obstacles: external obstacles and internal obstacles. An external obstacle, it could be anything from, it could be another character in the scene.
Wow!
It could be rain. A disgruntled employee.
Yes, sir. Hi, I'd like some breakfast. We stopped serving breakfast.
Anything that happens that is not within your character's control is an external obstacle. Your job is to overcome these obstacles. It's written in the text whether or not your character succeeds in trying to overcome these obstacles, but it's very, very important that even if they don't succeed, you must not play the end at the beginning because the audience will know.
You didn't say the magic word.
An internal obstacle is something that is very personal to your character. It only affects you, but we're gonna get into emotions later. Hold that thought. Tactics are what actors use to help the character get what they want. Your tactics must always agree with your objective. They must always try to succeed. Go over every single line of your dialogue and decide what tactics will be appropriate to achieve your goal. To seduce, to charm, to inspire, to something. Make sure that it's something that you can do. This is really where you can put your creativity and your personality on this stuff. These are wonderful because instead of thinking, what's my next line, you're thinking like a real person. In the description, I put a link to my website where I have an entire list with definitions. Use this when you're doing your text analysis, and also use things that really connect with you. What one actor's tactics works for them may not work for another actor. So this is something that is completely personal to you and you have full control over it.
De loin en loin, dit la haine. De proche en proche, dit l'amour.
Now, for the pièce de résistance, we're gonna talk about emotions, okay? By the way, that's French, it's fancy French talk for the magic sauce.
I like the way I feel. I like thinking about the red dress and the television and you and your father. Now when I get the sun, I smile.
You guys, this is the magic sauce. Being able to lock onto a character because they are emotional about the circumstances that they're in and they're trying to overcome obstacles will get an audience to root for you and want you to succeed.
And I know you hate your job and you don't have many friends, and I know sometimes you feel a little uncoordinated and you don't feel as wonderful as everybody else, and feeling as alone and separate as you feel you are, and I love you.
This is your time to get the audience emotionally invested in your cause, in your purpose, whatever you're doing.
I got a life too. I gave 18 years of my life to stand in the same spot as you. Don't you think I ever wanted other things? Don't you think I had dreams and hopes? What about my life? What about me?
You want to put emotions on everything you do, but done carelessly, it could look like a mother trying to teach its baby how to blow out candles.
Almost. Go again. Do it again, real hard.
Or just for the pure act of just entertaining the room, which please don't ever do that. Please don't entertain the room. The room is the camera. I'm talking to the camera right now. There's nobody else here.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I don't want my pain taken away. I need my pain.
You can decide to use your emotions strategically, but I will say this, be very careful about doing that because characters who use emotions as tactics are somewhat manipulative sometimes. It depends. You are the only one who can decide whether or not an emotion used as a tactic will be appropriate for the scene and your character. If you're playing a manipulative character and you want to use your emotions to make somebody do something in a scene, then that is appropriate. appropriate. If you are being affected, oh, this is where I bring up the thing that I said I was going to talk about later. Let's go back to internal obstacles for a second now that we're talking about emotions. For my money as an editor, I love it when actors use emotions as an internal obstacle. It's something that they don't want to deal with, but it's there and it's right on the surface, and they are trying with everything they have to not let it show. And then when it does, oh, it is explosive. But that build is what is exciting to an audience because we're waiting for it. When is she gonna snap? When is she gonna snap? So don't have your foot on the gas the entire time, otherwise the audience doesn't get to enjoy the scenery. How many movies have you seen where they stay with you for your whole life? Every time you're in a situation, you think about that movie, or you can't stop quoting that movie. It's just in your psyche. Movies become a part of us. And as actors, you are part of that process. So be strategic and be precise and decide what you want to say to people. What we do here is powerful. Don't just be willy-nilly. Don't just go and wing it. You don't have to do that. I'm asking you to make an impact, and it doesn't matter how small your role is. Any actor can take a very, very small role and turn it into something big.
Come and dream with me.
Are you crying? What's that? Are you crying? Am I crying? No, I'm not crying. You're crying.
Come here.
What?
Come here.
In future videos, we will get into each one of these ideas separately, and we're really gonna go down the rabbit hole. So we'll have a tactics episode, we'll have an emotions episode, we'll have an obstacles episode, etc., etc. But for right now, those are the key points that I use to build performances, to build a story. Using this process is easy. It's just a lot of little steps. Those baby steps I talk about. Baby steps. I love baby steps. Oh. Okay, you guys, that's enough for me. I have talked enough, but I will talk more next week. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, please subscribe, like, hit the bell, do all of that stuff. Thank you so much for all your comments, and keep them coming. If you have a question or suggestion for a future video, please leave a comment and I will absolutely put it on the list. All right, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. This time I'm really going. Okay, bye.
Wait! Pull the string! Pull the string!